Hello, hello, hello. How is it going, guys? It is Hudson here with another video, and today I want to talk about the GCD changes for Mage. As you may or may not know, this morning Blizzard announced that they were adding some GCD changes to a shit ton of specs in the game, and two of those specs are Arcane and Frost. And what they're changing is they're going through a lot of these specs, revisiting their like long CD cooldowns, right? Like Arcane Power, like Icy Veins. Those two are now off the GCD. So just to reiterate, if someone's super new and doesn't know what the GCD is, every time you cast an ability, like right here, I'm gonna walk out here and cast Arcane Explosion. Actually, I'm going to cast Arcane Intellect instead. So Arcane Intellect, notice when I cast it, there's going to be like a short refresh on each of these. Well, that like second or so is called the global cooldown, and that's what the GCD is. And it's slightly longer than a second, like it might be a second and a half. I'm not sure what the base duration is without haste, but the more haste you have, the lower the global cooldown is, right? Well, the problem with the global cooldown is that there's a lot of shit on it. And whenever you're getting ready, so like for Arcane specifically, in BFA, this is the beta that I'm on right now, right? But in BFA, for Arcane, you have to cast 3 globals before you can even start doing damage. So it feels really bad in terms of just like feel of the game, right? And I guess Blizzard has been trying to reduce that, and that's why they added Rune of Power onto Arcane Power. I'm not sure if whoever's watching this, if you're familiar with that change, but Arcane Power now automatically drops a Rune of Power, same with Combustion and Icy Veins. So that's to reduce using a global cooldown on Rune of Power before you activate that stuff. But Blizzard really does seem to be wanting to change this stuff and make it for the better and reduce global cooldowns before you start doing damage. And I think that this change is actually awesome. And I want to go right into Arcane Mage and kind of show the difference that it makes in the Arcane Mage rotation and just show how it feels. It feels a lot better. It feels a lot better for Arcane Mage. This isn't something that I expected of Blizzard, honestly. I actually, like, because people had mentioned, like, take Arcane Power off the GCD, and I just really never thought they were going to do that. But I'm super happy about it. I'm super happy. And I might have showed some gameplay, because I'm not sure how I'm going to edit this, but I did some, some like gameplay earlier and recorded it. So I might have put that before this, but right now I want to show you on these 4 targets. That's a rogue. That's not actually a target, even though it's the same color. I want to show you the difference, right? So now that Arcane Power is off the GCD, right? Before, it was so fucking awkward, man. So awkward. You would have to cast Arcane Power and then waste like almost 2 seconds of Arcane Power to cast Touch of the Magi and then go into your rotation. Now it's changed a lot, right? So now you can actually cast Touch the Magi and then Arcane Power. And I'm telling you what, this just feels so much better. You get those charges instantly. As soon as you're done with Touch the Magi, Arcane Power into a barrage, right? Whereas before, you would have to Arcane Power, literally waste like 3 seconds of it, Touch the Magi, and then barrage. It felt really clunky, I'm telling you. And now it feels like the 15 seconds of this Arcane Power cooldown, you're actually getting value out of. So I guess we can get into things. Let me think about the rotation I'm gonna do. Okay, I'm not gonna do the night phase stuff, but I'm just gonna like do the opener right now. I'm gonna start with a Touch of Magi on one, Arcane Power, and then barrage. I'm gonna use my orb, barrage again, and then I'm gonna go into Arcane Explosioning into barrages. Sorry if you hear my keyboard, but that's just how it is. And then Arcane Power is over, and that was weird because so like when you're doing training dummies, if you noticed, I only got 3 charges from that Touch of the Magi. It's like some weird glitch where you're like coming in and out of contact or in and out of combat with the training dummies, so it like removes a charge or something. But in a normal situation, that would be 4 charges. And I don't want to go and just do a bunch of like smacking these training dummies for you, because I'll put that on the side hopefully. But what I want to say is that this does feel a lot better. This feels a significant amount better, And I think that, like, Arcane was in a good spot before this, and now I think it's even better. The biggest problem I had in Mythic Plus dungeons playing Arcane was, like, it sounds stupid, but it's kind of like the setup time, right? I want instant damage. I don't want to have to wait 3-4 seconds before doing damage. That doesn't sound like that long, but it kind of is. And especially whenever you're testing these lower dungeons, these lower key dungeons, you want it quicker, and the quicker it comes out, the like, less mechanics you have to deal with, right? And I don't know, this makes it be a lot quicker. It makes it feel a lot quicker. It makes the class feel a lot more fast-paced as well. And I really like that. I really do. Now, coming into Frost, I honestly don't think that taking Icy Veins, Frost's major cooldown, if you're not aware, what Icy Veins does is it increase your haste by 30%. I don't think taking it off the GCD was the biggest change for Frost. It's good, though. I'm definitely happy about it. I'm definitely happy about Icy Veins coming off the GCD. And now, like, the opener for Frost is going to be, if you're on multiple target, I'm just going to do a multi-target rotation, because that's what I had been testing earlier. And after I show you this, I want to, at the end of this video, compare Frost and Arcane at the moment, just as like a little bit extra, because I wanted to talk about that and get some people's feedback, even though it might not be the like title of this video. But to open for Frost now, it's definitely smoother, but I wouldn't say it's as big of a change as Arcane Power, because Arcane is like built around Arcane Power. Like the whole spec is built around bursting during that Arcane Power window almost. But Frost is more of an even damage distribution, so it's not as impactful. And it's also a 3-minute cooldown rather than a 2-minute cooldown, or 1.5 in BFA. So let's see how we want to start this. So yeah, I usually cast a Blizzard to start off. Give me a second. But like, you can cast like a Frostbolt on single target or something. But I'm gonna go right into. Yep. See, I just gotta do the frickin'. That is so nice. That is so nice, doing the Icy Veins right into the fucking Frozen Orb, man. That just feels so good. That just feels so good. It really does feel a lot better. And it's not the same as Combust, right? Because Combust you can cast while you're literally casting a spell, right? But it still feels quite nice. And I'm telling you what, Frost as a spec feels very good. Right now I have Rune of Power on because I was testing some stuff out with the Night Fate Covenant. But I'm not the biggest fan of Rune of Power. Anyway, I guess we can start talking about the Arcane vs. Frost in Mythic Plus right now. So, I want to address this at the end of the video so you guys can let me know what you think, and if you've been testing it at all, if you've been seeing anyone play it, what you think of Frost Mage versus Arcane Mage. Right now, when testing just the numbers, which, mind you, these numbers are quite likely to change. Mind you, these numbers are quite likely to change. These numbers are quite likely to change.
Mind you, these numbers are quite likely to change.
Frost is looking quite strong right now, and they still have a lot of rounds of tuning left to do. There's about 2 months left before this stuff goes live, and even after that, they do it up until the raid, and even during the raid, if something's outperforming everyone else by a lot. But I think what I want to say is, in my opinion, I've found that Frost seems to be the best Mythic Plus spec right now. Fire's kind of out of the conversation at the moment due to it just being gutted. They need to do some changes to that. I'm not going to get into that right now. But it's really between Frost and Arcane, and I found that Arcane isn't doing as much damage as Frost. At least the way that I'm playing it. And I think for AoE, I'm playing it mostly optimally. That's how I would assume that the APL will be written for multi-target the way that I'm doing it. I'm sure there's some more ways to optimize it more, but I can't imagine it being more than like 10% damage. And in my testing, Frost played like this with like the Rune of Power and the Night Fate Covenant, and like I've been testing out conduits with the stuff because I just want to be able to switch on the same character back and forth real quick without having to switch my conduits and like max it out. I found that without the conduits, that Frost is a little bit better than Arcane damage-wise over like 5 minutes. Of course, Arcane's better at burst. Arcane's better at burst, and they both have their pros and cons in terms of like Frost can slow enemies. They said Arcane has a lot of burst, and there's some other stuff as well. Arcane has like a quicker invis. You get 2 ice blocks with your cold snap on Frost. There's like pros and cons. But right now, what I want to say is I enjoy playing Frost more, I would say. But at the same time, I also like playing Arcane, and I think they're quite close. And I think if the expansion were to go live like this, I think you will actually see more mages playing Frost because it's easier, and most mages are more familiar with Frost. A lot of mages like the Frost spec, but I don't think Arcane will be in the terrible spot that it was in at the end of BFA. I think you will actually see a lot of mages playing Arcane in keys, and I think Mythic Plus will see a large amount of Arcane mages. I wouldn't feel bad playing Arcane. If I played Arcane for Raid, I would not feel bad playing Arcane in Mythic Plus. I wouldn't feel like I'm holding my group back, really, honestly. It feels really good, and I feel like I can do a lot of damage. I feel like you can, with Arcane, you can actually do a lot of damage in specific spots that you want to with the burst that it's capable of, especially now that you get an extra like 2 seconds of Arcane Power saved by taking it off the GCD. Also, one thing to note, they may change that. People are expecting these cooldowns to be reduced by a couple seconds now that they're off the GCD. Because if your stuff's off the GCD, you get essentially more time, like I was saying with Arcane Power. But that's not the biggest deal with Arcane Power. That's almost expected. One last thing I want to close this video out with, right, is I want to address that Mage has uncapped AoE. Shh, don't tell Blizzard. Don't let them know. Don't let them know, man. This is sick. I think Frost Mage will be doing really, really well in keys with this one talent chosen, Freezing Rain. If people, it depends on how big pools are in general, but if pools get up to like 10 plus enemies, Freezing Rain's going to be a really good talent paired with the conduit that increases Blizzard's damage. Because you actually just fucking pump out Frozen Orbs in every Blizzard's instant, and it does 50% extra damage. It's insane. It's actually insane. Sorry if I'm yelling into the mic. I don't mean to be like, you know, sorry about that. But it's going to be insane for real. If you're looking to play an uncapped AoE spec, especially a ranged one, I would really look into Frost Mage. And then not just Frost Mage, but let's switch over to Arcane now. Arcane has Arcane Explosion. Of course, Arcane Barrage is hard capped at 5. That's how it's always been, but that's fine. Arcane Barrage is only about 40% of your damage. Arcane Explosion is about 40%, so they're about even. But once you get up to 10, Arcane Explosion, of course, will account for more, whereas Arcane Barrage stays at the exact same amount of raw damage that you're doing, whereas Arcane Explosion will do more and more and more because it's uncapped, and it's still a good option for uncapped AoE in case you end up not liking Frost. So what I guess want to say about all of this is that if you're deciding to play Mage or another spec, I think that Mage would be a quite good one if you're deciding a new class altogether, right? And I think that's good. I think that's good for the Mage class to bring new players in all the time. And the reason I say this is because if you don't like Arcane, right, you come to Mage because you think you might like Arcane. Like I went to play a Warlock as my alt because I thought I liked Destro. I didn't like Destro, but that's fine. I ended up liking Demo, and I think that might be the case for a lot of mages or a lot of new mages, right, coming to the class. They might come to play Frost, end up not liking Frost, and play Arcane. And it's really nice to have two viable specs just to have fun with, even. Like, you saw me in BFA in some of those videos I was making. I made videos about Arcane, I made videos about Fire, I made videos about Frost. It's super fun, and I'm super happy for Mage right now. I really like the place that it's in, being able to hopefully have a viable Arcane and Frost spec. And we'll see what happens with Fire. We'll see what happens with Fire. And I mean, that's really all I have to say about this. I'm super happy about the GCD changes. I think Mage is looking quite good right now. Maybe a few more tweaks and it would get perfect. I really like the uncapped AoE that we have, and I think Mage has super high potential for high-level Mythic Plus. I really do. I think this will be a good season for Mage and everyone in general. I'm excited to be learning these new dungeons. It's going to be super fun. And that's really it. Thanks for watching, guys. Take it easy. Let me know what you think about all of this. Please, please, please. I want to hear you guys' opinions. You guys have been giving awesome feedback, and I love answering any questions. And you guys have pointed out a lot of stuff that I may have missed in videos or not thought through entirely. So I appreciate hearing that stuff, so I know to double check it for the next video. So thanks a lot, and take it easy.